Number 8, how have you been? The learning goals for this unit are going to be talking about interacting with people in any way. It can be a positive or a negative way. Talking about self-improvement, whether, let's say, this one is mostly a positive one, and then discussing the bucket list and reading about and overcoming a rejection. It can be a rejection from a work or a relationship or a friendship, anything like that. And then we're going to be seeing also again the writing a narrative, right? Okay. Now we're going to see the camera. We'll just take a second.
What page is?
Page 89.
We are going to see vocabulary because of the time. We are going to straight to explain it.
Now there we go. Sorry for the. Now, as I said, the chapter 1 or chapter 8 or unit 8 is called How You Been or How Have You Been. In here we're going to see the interactions. Sometimes what we say in a conversation can change the course of the conversation itself in a matter of seconds. Some phrases can help us to draw the line between a fluid conversation, a fluid speech, or a conversation that is going well, and sometimes it can go wrong with just one sentence. Now we're going to see these very same sentence, and we're going to see whether they are good interactions or negative interactions. First, we have the first phrase, that is keep your cool. This one means that staying calm and focused in situations that are sometimes difficult. In Spanish, the meaning will be mantenerse calmado. They're a very basic one, but we have used them all the time, I guess. Now we have the next one, make fun of. This one is to make dumb or tasteless jokes about something, a person or a thing or a situation. These jokes are not the jokes that you do with friends, because when you are within your group, your friends, well, you can understand the very jokes or the jokes that are within the group. But when you are making fun of something, you are doing this to hurt the other people or to hurt the situation, and these jokes are not appreciated or are not needed in the moment. And in Spanish, the meaning will be burlarse. Alright? Then you have lose your temper. This one is getting very angry all of a sudden with or without a logical reason. And it's also known as crashing out because it can happen in any moment, and people, mostly all of the time, don't realize that they lose their temper really fast or they get really angry without they realizing that they are getting angry, right? Then we have be hard on. this one is something that may not have heard. I don't know. But sometimes we can say it also as giving a hard time to someone, treating someone very harshly, or being unfair with them for no reason. For example, I don't know, if you're talking with your friend and then you're being very rude with them without a logical reason, that is being hard on or giving them a hard time. It can be with a friend or it can be in a class, right? Then we have talking back. This one is the most common one because it's answering to someone, either a friend or a teacher, in a very rude way, or in Spanish, andar de responder, basically. And then we have raising your voice or raise your voice. This one is speaking loudly, but not the kind of speaking loudly when you want to be heard. This is the speaking when you get angry at something and you want to express that anger without any physical expression. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. Do you understand that? And then this one happens more often in younger people because they can manage their emotions all that well. And then we have overreact, that it is responding with too much emotion to some situation. It can be anger, it can be sadness, it can be joy, but it is expressing too much of this emotion to a situation or something, but in a very small, right? And then how talk it over. This one is discussing a problem with someone else with the intention to decide an outcome. This outcome, it can be positive or negative, but mostly and most of the time is a positive outcome, right? Then we have work it out. This is finding the solution to the problem by thinking it thoroughly. The difference between work it out and talk it over is the first word, right? Because in here we see talk. This one is just the talk, right? It's not doing the very action to solve the problem. And then work it out means that they are going to talk or think the situation, and then after that they are going to immediately try to fix the situation or getting an outcome, right? And we have also deal with. This one is doing something about the same problem that we were talking about, but this one has some positive and some negative connotations. Why? Because it can either be in a pacifist way, because they can talk it over, they can be talking with their friends to get a solution, or a more physical one. Because in some movies, especially in action movies, people usually say, let me deal with it. And this one usually means that they are going to be using some kind of force to resolve the problem, right? And that's it. Thank you very much. And then we have here the vocabulary, as you see. Here is the some version of the vocabulary. As we see, keep your cool, make fun of, lose your temper, be hard on, talk back, raise your voice, overreact, talk it over, work it out, and deal with. Okay? Now the first activity, I don't know if you want to call it like that, is going to be writing the words from this vocabulary into the appropriate column. For example, which one of this sentence is appropriate behavior, something that it is okay to do. Keeping your cool or making fun of. What do you think is an appropriate behavior? Mantenerse calmado, burlarse de keeping your cool, right? And then keeping your cool goes into appropriate behavior, and then making fun of or make fun of is going to be inappropriate behavior, right? Then we have also lose your temper and be hard on. These two are appropriate behavior or inappropriate behaviors? Inappropriate, because those ones are being very stubborn or be really angry at something, right? Then talking back and raising your voice. It is what? Appropriate behavior or inappropriate behavior? Inappropriate. Both of them are inappropriate behaviors. Because talking back, this being a respondent, and no one wants to be a respondent. And then raising your voice. Do you think it is what? Appropriate or inappropriate? Inappropriate, because you're speaking loudly because you're getting angry, right? And then we have the last ones: overreact, responding too strongly or too emotionally to a situation. Is appropriate or inappropriate? Inappropriate. But
emotions,
uh-huh.
¿cómo se dice? Casi siempre.
Almost always. Almost always.
Almost always is inappropriate.
Exactly. It's inappropriate, right? Because you're doing too much or feeling too much a situation. And then we have talk it over, work it out, and deal with. Those three are appropriate or inappropriate behaviors. What do you think? Appropriate behavior, because those three are trying to find a solution to something without getting angry, right? And now we're going to see the grammar.
So let's talk about the grammar. For today, we are going to see models for past regrets and possibilities. If you remember well, models are these words called auxiliaries that help us express ideas. So in this case, we use these models to talk about past regrets, referring to what we wish had been different in the past, and we commonly use the structure should have, specifically only should have. And to talk about past possibilities, referring past possibilities in the sense of describing things that were in the past, but we are not sure if they actually happened. We use in this case three different structures: could have, may have, and might have. So when writing statements about past regrets, for example, I should have studied more for the exam, we are usually talking about things that were a mistake or a wrong decision. For example, in this case, the person regrets not having studied enough. Maybe he failed the exam and now he cannot do, I don't know, a paper or obtain a certificate. And in the statements with past possibilities, we have three different options, and these options may change the meaning of what you are trying to say. For example, they could have arrived earlier. It means that something was possible. In the sense of could, it's usually more like a neutral sentence, like a general explanation to something is like a 50-50. The idea is usually like you maybe are sure about something or you maybe not. And then we have, he might have left already, meaning something is quite possible. When we use may, we are talking about something more closer to reality. May is usually more like a formal word. And it's also like a thing that the speaker actually believes. Like he might have left already, like the person is saying like the most probably he already left. Then we have she might have forgotten the meeting. This refers to a weak possibility, something that is not totally certain. And when we use may have, we are talking about a weaker guess, like an assumption of something. And as you can see, all of them have a different degree into being closer, into being sure if the idea is true or not. Could is neutral, may is usually closer to be sure about something, and might is like less sure about them. Now, all of these statements can be used also like in negative sentence when we add the word not. She should not have raised her voice. He's talking about regretting a bad action. He could not have finished that so fast. He's talking about an impossible past situation. That person just finished the test too fast that is not possible because they are given certain time and maybe there are too many questions. If you add the not, you can see that the sentence will change meaning. Like it's not saying she should have raised her voice. Maybe instead of saying like she regrets having raised her voice because it's rude, maybe it's actually she should have raised her voice is something like she should have defend herself. Like she should actually, I don't know, maybe she was uncomfortable. And these are examples with might and may. We have they might not have understood the instructions. It's a possible negative situation, and she might not have seen your message. All of them keep the same rules as I said in previously. Like may is still formal, might is a possible negative situation, but it's more closely like it's not certain if that's the situation. And also, if you notice, all of these sentences were pretty long, but we can make some constructions with certain words. For example, if should have is in a positive form, that means doesn't include the not. We can keep the model as it is right and should, and just cut the word have. Should be, would be, might be. And in negative form, we keep the model verb like entirely should, and we keep have as a full word also, but we cut the word not. And we specifically do not use contractions for may not or might not. So we also have beside the statements their version in questions. For example, should they have kept their cool? Usually in this sentence it's referring like some sort of advice or criticism. And as you can see, the structure of the sentence will change. In the natural statements, we have a subject, the modal verb, might, may, or whatever you are using. Sometimes we can add optional, it's the not. Then we have the word have. And then after have, we will always use a word in past participle. For example, understood, seen, raised, finished. But in questions, we usually only exchange the subject and the modal verb. So instead the subject going first goes the modal. Should they have kept their cool? Could they have kept their cool? And we don't use may and might for questions. We only use should and could. Now, as you can see, should and could can also be used in negative question. For example, we can say, shouldn't he have dealt with it differently? And that will be all for this explanation. And but also, I would like to add, I think I didn't put it here, that we have also, because I think it is in an activity. We also have the word wool, which is like more for unreal past situations. And it is, for example, like more for unreal past situation, hypothesis. For example, I could say, I would have helped if I had known, but I didn't know, so it didn't happen. So now we're going to do the activities in page 146.
complete the sentence with the correct form of the modal in the parentheses. You have to remember you need to add the have.
We are going to complete sentences with the correct form of the modal in parentheses. We are going to give you 5
5 minutes.
The second,
No problem.
shouldn't have raised.
Exactly. First one is I should not or shouldn't have raised my voice. I'm sorry. Now, next one, number 3. She could make it to work on time if she had left her house earlier. How would the correct form will be?
And she could have made it to work on time if she had left her house early.
Exactly, she could have or could have made it to work on time if she had left her house earlier. You have to remember that you can say either the word have or just use the contraction that it is a be and an e. Okay? Now, next one. They could not be nicer to me. They were so easy to deal with.
The verb is in past.
It's in past participle. The structure of the sentences is usually the modal verb should, could, might, may, and then we have the word have, and finally it's a past participle verb.
Well, number 4, they could not be nicer to me. The answer is pretty much simple, is could not what? Have been nicer to me. And I say you could say could not have or just use the contraction with a be and an e, right? Now number 5, Jenny might overreact. I think she was just having a bad day. What would the answer be?
Might have overruled.
Exactly. Might have overreacted and or with the contraction. Now, number 6. There was no need to yell. We should type it over calmly.
We should have told him.
Exactly. We should have talk it over calmly. Very good. Now, number 7. It is not a big deal that the children didn't go to bed earlier. You should not be so hard on them.
Should not have been.
Exactly. Should not or should not have been so hard on them. And the last one, you can see it there when it's in the book. It's a good thing we didn't wait until today to send the package, or it might not have what? Arrived. Might not arrive in time for her birthday. What would the answer be? Might not have arrived. Might not. Because we can use the contraction in a negative form. Now, let's go on the part B of the activities. In this one, we're going to be doing it all together. Now, the first one is, hey Stacy, you never believe what happened today. Hey Ruth, I'm really sorry. I couldn't make or could make it to the meeting. What happened? What it is? The first one is couldn't make it to the meeting because she wasn't able to be there. Okay? Now, next one. Well, Richard and Carl got into a huge argument. Whoa, that's not like them. They must have been really angry. Yeah, but they, what? Should have or shouldn't have started yelling at each other in front of everyone. What thing or what do you think is the answer? Shouldn't, exactly. Because they are telling that it is not correct that they start to yell in front of everyone who's in there, right? Now, next one. True. They shouldn't keep or should have kept their cool. What do you think? Should have kept, exactly. They needed to be as calm as possible to resolve or to understand what they were trying to say. Now, next one. And Tim just stood there watching them. He didn't do anything. He really, what? Should deal with or should have dealt with it what right away? Should have, exactly. Dealt with it. Okay? Should have dealt with it right away. Next one, definitely. But he, what? Might have been a little scared. Might have been, exactly. And following that very same, I know I, what? Would be or would have been? Would have been, exactly. Yeah, we all were. Well, they must be really embarrassed now, right? And they, what? Should be or should have been? What do you think the answer is? Should be or should have been? The answer is should be. Because we are. Okay, now we're going to be seeing the last one, the letter C, make it personal. Now, we need to read this scenario.
We're going to read the following scenario and then you are going to write your own sentences with could or should have to handle the situation better. Use the models we just showed you, but for this activity to be different, I actually made a Padlet. So you can go inside this page and you write your sentences and also answer to your classmates' replies.
And you have 5 minutes to do it, and you have to at least write 2 sentences each one of you. Okay? Please.
And reply to your classmates.
And then reply to with 1 sentence with all of your classmates.
What we do?
What we are going to do? We're going to scan the QR for Padlet, and then you're going to enter, and then instead of answering in your book the letter C, you're going to be answering on the Padlet, and then you're going to have to write at least 2 sentences using the could have or should have with the situation that is in the book, this one that is in right there. And then after that, you're going to answer with 1 sentence to all of your classmates, because we're just 4.
There's also there's also here an example, like you're going to make a sentence and then a classmate should reply. And here's also the text from the book, if you need to read it again.
Roberts. This.
Okay. I have no idea what is going on. I think it's more like this one.
Yeah.
I finished.
Okay, very good. He may have been tired and stressed, which is why he overreacted. Okay. Alright, now we have some answers. I shouldn't have lost my temper. I was very rude to him. Okay? Now, he may have been tired and stressed, which is why he overreacted. Also correct. And then the last one, I shouldn't have been hard on my friend. Very good. And with that, we conclude this introduction to the Unit 8. I don't know if you have any doubts. And Teacher David?
Okay, well, that's all for today, so thank you for coming, and I wish we had more, I wish there had been more students today.
Yeah.
Thank you for your lesson. See if the students again.